And there's a second ding. See, live. I love going live, and I cannot talk properly. This is why I like editing things with, one of these. Okay, welcome to Rob's Sunday Comic Corner. This is episode 4, and it is live. So all of my mess-ups will be caught here. I really enjoyed doing the update live the other day, and I've got a Red Robin figure to review. The Alex Ross that I was going to have coming up, and we spent a little bit of time out of the house on Saturday, and I thought, you know what, I've already had the comics read, why not actually do this and get the video up on Sunday for people that might want to check it out. So normally I have the intro playing before the show starts, so let's see if my sharing device works here properly, and we will get the show started off properly, and here we go.
I am Rob Rose. For 3 years, I've been reviewing action figures on YouTube, but I've decided I can't continue to review the things the way I've been reviewing them on YouTube. Well, I can, but I've got to expand my horizons. So I've decided I'm going to continue to read comic books. I'm going to read them as many as I can, and in different locations that I can. I can't be the reviewer that I once was. I must be willing to take reading comics to the next level. Well, okay, well, maybe not here. But I think you get what I mean. I read one book, and then I read another. And then after that, well, I think you know what's...
What are you doing?
I'm reading something else. Yeah, what he said.
I have no idea if that worked out well enough for you guys or not, but hopefully it did. Welcome to the live episode of Rob's Sunday Comic Corner, and let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it, and I'm going to apologize right up front. Still have a little bit of a cough just from the weather changing. It's supposed to be 68, 67 degrees Monday, and then back down into the 40s. So depending on where you live, me being in Ohio, the weather just will constantly do this for the next few weeks or so until spring finally gets here. So you can probably hear it right in here. So I've got my good buddy Robin here with me. What's up, dude? So I've got a drink, so in case I start coughing, hopefully we can get through this without too much of a problem. The first book for today, I'm going to try using this share device here a little bit, and hopefully it works like I think it's going to. So the first we'll look at is going to be Batman Arkham Knight, written by Peter Tomasi and drawn by Bogdanovic, if I'm saying that correctly. I don't have any images here. I thought about trying to get some images up, and maybe when I do these live, I will put up some images in here that I can kind of talk over and go back and forth. So we'll see how easy this goes, but hopefully you are seeing what I'm seeing, and if not, I apologize. The Batman Arkham Knight video game is coming out on June 2nd, and I cannot wait. It should be a fantastic game, and the guys over at Rocksteady had asked DC Comics if they would be interested in publishing a prequel comic that comes out before the video game launches, to kind of give you a little bit more of a backstory into the Arkham Knight. Really not too much of a backstory into the Arkham Knight, but more importantly, what is going on in Gotham City. And this book picks up right after, I mean, literally right after the events of Arkham City. So if you're somebody that has not played any of the Arkham games, and I've been saying that pretty much in my comic reviews, that I'm going to be spoiling things in this. So if you don't want to know anything, or you're wanting to go into the video game completely without this knowledge coming into it, it's not going to spoil anything for the game. It's just kind of letting you know the events that are going on. This picks up right after Batman has walked out of the cathedral, or excuse me, not the cathedral, the movie theater in Arkham City, as Batman, if you don't want to know, here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, carries out the lifeless dead body of the Joker and places him on the squad car. And the first few panels, as I'm opening up my book here, take place immediately right after that event as you see Batman placing the Joker's body on top of the hood of the police car, and then Gordon asking, what the hell happened in there. And then you see Batman kind of walking off, and that's the last part of the video game for Arkham City. This picks up immediately right after that, and the police deciding, what they're going to do with the Joker's body, and then Batman, I'm losing my train of thought. Batman flies off into the city and basically tells Alfred he's coming home. He runs into the electrocutioner, and the electrocutioner ends up zapping Batman from the ground. Batman falls, and the electrocutioner starts to shock Batman, saying that you think you may have stopped my mentor that trained me, but I'm the new powerful electrocutioner. So this directly now links Batman Arkham Origins into the Rocksteady trilogy of video games. And I like that Rocksteady confirms that, yes, Arkham Origins is directly tied in. Some people were under the impression, well, Arkham Origins is using the Arkham name by title. It kind of loosely plays into the Arkham universe, and this is the first definitive proof that the events that happened in Arkham Origins are in canon in the Arkham universe. So I thought that was pretty cool. And Batman has a cool moment where, as if you have played the Arkham Origins game with the electrocutioner, he's all a bunch of talk, and all you have to do is punch the electrocutioner once, and that's all it takes to beat the boss, which is basically what happens here. He says, you're much like your boss. You talk too much, and Batman punches him in the face. Ha-ha, a little moment, and a bad guy's taken care of. The interesting thing is that right after this, after Batman's worn, he's beaten down, he's going to head home back to Wayne Manor in the Batcave. We have the first appearance of the Arkham Knight, shows up and puts a gun to the electrocutioner's head and executes the electrocutioner. That's hard to say. And right before this happens, the Arkham Knight ends up saying, Batman ends up using fear tactics to scare his opponents into telling him what he wants to know, or or to get information out of them. He says, I work the opposite way. I use that fear, and then I extricate that fear, if I'm even saying that word right. I remove that fear from that person with a simple gun. So right away, people are saying the Arkham Knight could be kind of Jason Todd-ish. I kind of hope that that's not the way it's going to go. That might play too much onto the nose. But the basic rest of this book is Batman dealing with, he spent 24 hours in Arkham City. Arkham City has been taken down. They're removing the walls, and Gotham City is finally returning back to its rightful place, or it's starting to become a city again. They're using Blackgate Penitentiary and other facilities to take the criminals that were once inside Arkham City and remove them and give the city back to the people. And Alfred's really telling Bruce, once he's back home, that I think you've done your job. You've far made your parents proud, probably more proud than they could ever be, obviously if they were here. And this kind of reminds me of Batman. I am totally losing my train of thought. See, this is the bad part of going live. The Dark Knight Rises, good Lord. In the fact that it's kind of the same speech, that the police could really benefit from, or the Gotham City could really benefit from having Bruce Wayne. It's Bruce Wayne's wealth and knowledge, and you've given your body to this city time and time again. Maybe this is the point where, as the rebuilding process is going, Bruce Wayne can be more effective than Batman can, and let the police do the job that they're supposed to do. We have the Joker getting one last look, or I should say one last grip of fear onto the city. As they're doing the autopsy, gas from inside the Joker's body begins to seep out of every pore in his mouth and his eyes, and starts killing people that are doing the autopsy. They end up finding a USB drive in the Joker's body, and that's going to be given to Batman, obviously. Just kind of flip through the book here really quick. We have a board meeting with Lucius Fox, and in this continuity, I wasn't entirely sure. It is very much like the Dark Knight trilogy. Lucius Fox does know of Bruce Wayne's secret identity, and is kind of along the same lines. The first thing that Bruce does after Arkham City has been closed officially, he holds like a 10-hour board meeting, and he's handpicked specific key people in Gotham City saying, we are the first people that can rebuild Gotham City, and each of us in this room know the importance of Gotham City. We are all families of Gotham City, and Bruce is wanting to lead the charge, saying, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. We need to be the ones that the city is being built upon, and one person can't do it, 3 people can't do it. It's going to take an entire city. So it was a really cool speech that Bruce has here. Of course, later on back in the Batcave, Batman finds out about what had happened in the morgue with the Joker's body, and he's on his way to see Commissioner Gordon and kind of discuss what has happened. This is the first appearance later on of the Penguin realizing, and there's a news broadcast that is going on that somehow, I'm assuming it's Harley Quinn, is broadcasting like the last will and testament of the Joker, and the Joker is on the TV screen. So it's kind of freaking some people out. The people assume that the Joker is still dead, and the Penguin is kind of he's the first person to start rallying the troops, and is kind of curious where the Scarecrow is. He's kind of brought in all of the Penguin's men, or excuse me, all the Joker's men into his group, and saying that he never trusted the Clown. He should have never even been a part of the Clown's plans as the game was kind of unfolding in the Arkham City video game. So they make quite a bit of references to the Arkham City game, and the Penguin knows right away that with the Joker gone, everybody's going to be vying for pieces of Gotham City, and he's the first one that says, we need to find the Scarecrow. We haven't seen Jonathan Crane since he refers to the events of the Arkham Asylum, and says if anybody is going to make a play for Gotham City, it's going to be the Scarecrow. He had so much to lose the last time. So again, that's a reference to Arkham Asylum. And the Penguin knows if Jonathan Crane is already going to be doing that, that probably needs to be the side he starts aligning himself on before maybe getting on the side of Two-Face. So in the trailer for the video game, we've kind of seen, for Arkham Knight, we've kind of seen all the villains starting to work together. You see the shots of Harley Quinn and Two-Face and the Riddler, not the Riddler, but the Penguin. So I'm kind of curious to see if this is where the seeds are being planted. I believe this book is going to come out once a month until the video game comes out in June. So Batman decides he's going to go to Arkham Asylum. There's some information on the flash drive that lead Batman in a series of clues that says like back to where it all began, or back to where things started. So Batman realizes he's going to have to go to the asylum, and inside the asylum is also the Arkham Knight. So the Arkham Knight is trying to beat Batman to the clues left by the Joker, and what the Joker does is end up booby-trapping Arkham Asylum to hopefully to kill Batman. The asylum blows up, and from underneath the rubble, the Arkham Knight is the first to emerge, and finds a diary written by the Joker, written in like little handwriting, and it's going to be the last will and testament to whomever finds it, and this is going to give the Arkham Knight the ammunition that we kind of see him have in the trailer of the video game. And we have the Scarecrow talking to somebody. We're not entirely sure who it is. I kind of think it's Harley Quinn, just about the plans that are being put into place. The Batman is finally going to get what has been taken from him. So at the very end of the book, we have Batman finally crawling out of the rubble of Arkham Knight, or of the asylum, and he is telling Alfred that, or Alfred is telling him that he has finally finished looking through the files on the hard drive, and that there is a last will and testament of the Joker. That's kind of where the comic leads off. So let me see if I can get here. I believe you can see me. I can't quite see you yet. So that is, and maybe you've been looking at me the whole time. I really hope that the screen share is working properly. I'm really stoked for this video game. And what's really cool about this comic, digitally right now, I think they're taking like one issue and they're breaking it down into 3 issues. So the digital issues come out first and then the full issue. So this issue 1 didn't come out until the 3rd digital issue had been out. So maybe you're reading this digitally, and you might be up to issue 4 right now. But again, they're breaking those into thirds for the actual issue here. This is going to be a fantastic game, and I'm getting a message here. So anyway, pardon me. Again, it's going to be June 2nd, and I like that that the Arkham City video game and the Arkham Knight video game happen within I think it's a month span from what is going on here. You have the immediate events from Arkham City, and then 2 or 3 weeks go by, and then the events towards the end of this book start happening. So I think by the time the video game comes out, it's going to be a year between the 2 video games. So this is going to be the missing year, so there's going to be some time jumps. Also, Oracle has been mentioned that Bruce is talking back and forth as he's on his way to the asylum, and Oracle asks if she should send in help. And Batman says, no, I would like Nightwing and Robin to be in the city helping with the recapturing of the criminals that are still kind of wandering around from the Arkham City prison. So that's the first mention of Nightwing and Robin in video games. So I'm kind of hoping they'll make appearances in the comic book, and I'm hoping there'll be some type of a version that is playable, if it's a challenge map, or in Arkham City there was a point where you could get to a rooftop, find a cat, and you could switch into Catwoman off and on. So it'd be kind of cool if you could find a bird, then change it to Robin. So as the months go by, we're going to probably find out more information on the video game, and then the same with the comics that I think will be tying in. And some people are thinking to pay attention really close to the art, because there may be clues and codes that you can actually use in-game. So that'll be kind of cool. People can start deciphering those as well. So I know that's not in canon right now, but this video game I think is going to be huge. And I like that DC is doing things like this. Not only are they doing their continuity, or pretty soon it's going to be broken continuities in amongst the books, but the DC is continuing to put out really good books. And the thing that I really like about this book is it's written by Peter Tomasi, who is the current writer on the Batman and Robin book in the New 52. So that's pretty cool. So let's move on to our next book, and let's see if I can continue to get this right. And it is going to be Green Arrow. And this is going to be the last book written by Kinsberg and Solanowski. I think I'm saying that right. And these are the writers for the Arrow TV series. So you can kind of see there is John Diggle right here. There is Felicity Smoke. You can see Batman, Katana, and this person's kind of eluding me. She makes a quick appearance. And then, of course, there's Lex Luthor. So this is the end of the King saga. The other billionaire that is in Star City that, when we last left off, has kidnapped his daughter just because the heroes are running him throughout the city, and we're finding out that he is full of corruption. This is only the first time in the New 52 in this book that Green Arrow and Arsenal have worked together since whatever had happened in the New 52. I never picked up the Secret Origins comic that came out that went into further explanation of the rift that happened between Roy and Ollie. So that's something I'm going to have to track down, and maybe when I can get a hold of that, I'll talk about that in a future episode. Pardon me for taking a drink there. I really like this series. I'll be sad to see the Green Arrow title end with them as the writing team on it. since after Convergence, a lot of stuff is going to be changing. And I can't quite blame them. The Arrows of the writing team have said, they enjoy running the comics. They are writing the Green Arrow title was a lifelong dream of theirs, but writing a TV show and then writing a monthly comic was starting to take its toll on it. So at least we got this. So if you've been a fan of the Arrow TV series, this comic has been very, very well. It's as close to the Arrow show as DC will let them, but the voices of Felicity Smoke and John Diggle feel like they are coming right off the TV screen. And something else that they wanted to do, since DC's being funny about, well, we don't know if we can let you have Bruce Wayne for the Arrow TV series, they found a way around it by getting Batman in the Green Arrow comic, because they all have the same shared universe in comics. So the Arrow team said it was really kind of cool to getting to write Bruce Wayne, getting to write Batman. So if you've ever kind of wondered what their version of Batman would sound like on Arrow, they said this is as close to as you're probably going to get for quite some time. But anyway, we have Team Arrow going through to King's high-rise building, to where they think King has kidnapped his daughter. And it's basically a giant suicide mission, getting Felicity Smoke in the building because there's a bomb in there. And of course, she's going to be the one to defuse the bomb. Batman is only in 3 panels in the book, so that's kind of like the hook of like, oh, let's see what the Arrow team does with the Batman character. You get 3 panels of Batman in this book, but he's written like a badass, as I imagine he probably would be in the Arrow TV series. And then the beginning of the story arc, I think that was in issue 36, 37. That whole first book of this run was Lex Luthor and Bruce trying to talk to Ollie. We're here to help you rebuild your city, along with King. And now Lex and Bruce realizes, okay, maybe we made the wrong mistake here. Oliver was right. King was somebody that we should not have been trusting. So the book is a big, huge hide and seek, basically. And you'll find out with the last couple of these books that I end up reviewing today that it's a lot of action, and all the story buildup has already kind of happened. And these are all of the payoffs. Felicity is able to get into King's office, hack his cell phone, and find out exactly where he's calling from. And he's at one of his construction sites that he is trying to, just to build homes, and that's kind of where everything started from. King's daughter found out about it. King had killed his wife for snooping in, which his daughter, of course, ends up finding that out, and so she's trying to have a conversation with Dad. When Oliver shows up, King gets the best of Oliver, and we don't know it towards the end of the book, but Oliver lets that happen so King can try and give King that moment of, are you going to, what's the best way to say this? Are you going to, give yourself up? Are you going to tell your daughter what you did? And so Oliver can hear it and, turn him over to the police. And she wants to, the only way she knows that she can get her father to say that is to make it look like she's going to take Oliver out and like, Dad, I'm on your side. I don't care about all this. A, I don't want you to kill me, but B, I'm upset at what you did with Mother, but whatever. So she ends up shooting Oliver in the back, and then King then starts, blabbing his plans, which Oliver stands up and she says, there's something you need to know about Green Arrow. He wears Kevlar, and the moment where she's going to shoot her father for killing her mother, he says, do you think I'm actually that stupid to allow you to take a gun of mine? There's no bullets in there. King is now going to try and shoot his daughter, and that's when Oliver stands up. And everything has been wrapped up in a nice, tight little bow. Team Arrow's getting put together. Felicity is asked to join the team officially, and Diggle says, that's great. We can start making a team. We can have Team Arrow. And that's the end of the book. Because of Convergence, the Arrow team is no longer going to be together. So this is possibly the last canon appearance of Oliver Queen and Felicity and John Diggle because of Convergence that's going to be coming out. But this was great. They are kind of, the Arrow team is kind of overseeing the Arrow comic. They're not necessarily having they're not writing it themselves. They're having another team do it. But they said this was a dream come true. A dream come true, being able to write in DC Comics proper and getting a chance to use all of these different characters. Katana is only, they don't really write her that much. She was kind of in the previous issue that was 39. She has a little bit of dialogue. So it's just more of them getting just to kind of play and draw with some of these characters. So again, if you're a fan of the Arrow TV series, this series, I think it's from 37 to 40, is the King storyline. So I definitely recommend reading it. The Arrow TV show is great. If you like that, you'll absolutely love this. So we are going to trek right along to another book. Now this book, I do have another image to show you. Let's see if I can get this to come up. This works. This might be to do it. It is Deathstroke. So we have this image here. If I can get this to come up, possibly. All right. There we are. Let's see if that works better. All right, so we have this battle between Batman, Deathstroke, and Harley Quinn. So if you remember from the last, I believe not the last episode, but the episode before I did the first 4 issues in the storyline, Slade Wilson is trying to track down his son and his daughter. His son, Jericho, has been kind of turned into this being that can kind of, it has all these powers, these psychic and telekinetic powers. He's able to read minds. And then his daughter, Rose Wilson, is trying to track down Jericho, both. And Slade's own father is trying to track down Jericho, and the case has brought Deathstroke to Gotham City. Harley Quinn ends up leading Deathstroke into a trap, and as she does that, she ends up leading Batman into a trap as well. And Harley just wants to see the two fight. That's kind of her big thing in this book, is kind of like, all right, Deathstroke's ticked at me for what I did in Suicide Squad, getting him quote-unquote killed, and Batman's nosing around what I'm trying to do in Gotham City while I'm trying to get the current Suicide Squad in. So if I can get one or the two or the both of them to fight each other, then maybe I can only have one to worry about, or maybe they'll beat each other up enough that I won't have either of them to worry about. And that's what this whole issue is a fight between Batman and Deathstroke. It's drawn very well by Tony Daniels. And other than the end of the book, the only talking that's really done is by Deathstroke, since he has been de-aged in the event that ended up saving his life. He has both sight, and he's realizing while fighting Batman, he's relying on his new eye to see, and it's causing him to actually lose the fight. He said Batman should not be able to get the jump on him that he has. He can see and react to Batman's attacks, but he's seconds too slow. So that's basically the gist of the issue. It's just a giant fight between Batman and Deathstroke, and it's drawn beautifully. Batman says, the reason he was brought here, Harley had said, there's a murder here. I thought you might want to know. Yes, I was doing something illegal, but I didn't kill these people. So while Batman was investigating this warehouse for a murder, Harley has told Deathstroke, well, I think I know where your son is. I think he's going to be here in this building. So this is where she gets the two of them to fight. A really cool, 22-page fight between Batman and Deathstroke. And I just like the constant commentary of Deathstroke of, how and why Batman is the greatest combatant out there. And he's like, of course, next to himself. But the building ends up blowing up on the two of them. Harley is kind of getting bored of the fight and then blows it up and is kind of like, well, fine, I'll just kill you both. Of course, she doesn't manage to kill both of them. Slade is pissed, and she finally says, okay, I do in fact know where your son is. Well, I know where Rose has been. She's leaving body counts all across Gotham City. So she's obviously working her way to try and find Jericho. At the end of the book, we meet up with Jericho and Rose Wilson, and Possum from the very first issue of Deathstroke is there, and Rose makes a quick slice and dice of Possum, and just as he does that, or she does that, Jericho is lifted off the ground, which looks like by his own powers, and it's by her grandfather. And he is holding the head of Possum in his hands, and behind the grandfather is Bronze Tiger and Cheshire. So they are the ones that are currently leading the League of Assassins at the moment. So not much for story plot in this issue at all. Is basically just like I said, it's the knockdown, drag-out fight between Deathstroke and Batman. It's beautifully drawn. The inner monologue of Deathstroke, I think, is really good. Just in him, I guess, knowing the limitations of his younger body. And he says, it's kind of sad. When I was an old man, or an older man, I was leaner, meaner, and tougher, and now I'm in my younger body once again, when I thought I knew everything and I don't know anything at all, and the one person I should be able to go toe-to-toe with is Batman, and he's wiping the floor with me. So I don't know if this age for Deathstroke, that's right now the same age as Batman, right around 30, I think, 32, 33. So he's constantly having to work on closing his eye, or he's even toying with, do I just have to cut this eye out again like before so I can at least see correctly? So you can imagine only having one eye for so long, you learned depth and perception, and those are kind of things that are going through Deathstroke's mind as the fight with Batman is going on. So let's move into our next book, and the next book will be Batman Eternal, and this is going to be Batman Eternal 48, and something's right my way, 48 and 49. Now I'm going to talk about the two together here really quick. Let's get a little bit more on here of Batman and Bane. This is issue 49. We have 51, 50, or excuse me, 3 issues left, 50, 51, and 52. Now, there after issue 49, there are tie-in issues, and I do have one here. It's for Detective Comics 41. I'm not going to talk, or excuse me, that's not 41. My bad. Not 41. So as of right now, Batman Eternal, I'm thinking of Endgame. Batman Eternal does not have any tie-in issues that I'm aware of. There's only 3 issues left, and we still do not know who is in charge of everything, who is running this whole entire operation. It still kind of feels like now it's going back to Hush. Hush has managed to free himself. If you remember the last episode of the comic show, that Hush has freed himself from inside of the Batcave. He has imprisoned Alfred inside of his containment cell and has deactivated all the Bat family's gadgets. So he has led them, well, initially all of them were tracking down where all the supply drops were going, to Mr. Freeze, to the Joker's daughter, to the Scarecrow, to Clayface. And once all the Bat family members got to all those locations, that's when Hush freed himself, imprisoned Alfred, and then deactivated all their tech gear, so they don't have anything to currently fight the villains with other than just their skill, which is fine, but now they're kind of being overpowered because as they were in the middle of the fights, things were getting short-circuited, which gave the villains a chance to pounce on all of our heroes. While this is going on, the Penguin is setting up to being able to be temporarily broken out of his cell to go after Commissioner Gordon. And while that's going on, Jason Bard is talking to the mayor saying, we were completely wrong. Gordon is not responsible for the deaths in the train tunnel. If you go all the way back to issue 1 of Batman Eternal, we're finally getting to talk about that again. And the mayor is like, I don't care. I don't have time for this right now. Do you realize the legal ramifications that are going to go on? And Bart is telling the mayor, we have to get Gordon out now. Something is going on in the Blackgate Penitentiary, and Gordon's life is in danger. And the mayor is just kind of like, meh, I really don't care. So the prison cells have been opened up, and there is a full-blown riot in Blackgate Prison, and Gordon is now having to fight for his life in Blackgate Prison. And like I said, Red Robin, Batgirl, Batwing, Redbird, and Red Hood are all fighting their respective villains, being Bane, Freeze, Scarecrow, Joker's daughter, if I've got all of them listed correctly. And while that's going on, like I said, all of their tech gear has been disabled. Julia Pennyworth was literally ejected from the Batcave in like a bat sub. So now she's outside of the walls of the Batcave and on the outside of the city, working her way to a location, which we find out in issue 49. She is going to Red Robin's Robin nest that we saw back in issue 5, because Red Robin still has a little bit of, I would say, a little bit of a trust issue with Bruce, saying, you know, it's almost in the reverse in No Man's Land, where Batman went out and put in different satellite bat caves. Tim went out and put in satellite Robin's nest, that in the event something happens to Batman, he becomes incapacitated, or they lose control of the bat cave, Tim came up with an alternate plan that does kind of sort of tie into the bat cave, but runs independently on its own. And Tim made this in passing, and I think in issue, man, I want to say 20-something, one of the first appearances of Julie Pennyworth, that Tim was talking to Alfred about his bird nests, and she remembers this and is going to track one of them down. Bruce's bat plane was also destroyed by Hush, so he has stopped at a military base, stolen a military plane, and is on his way to wherever he can go, because all the communication has been locked down by Hush in the Batcave. We have Stephanie Brown coming into Vicky Vale, trying to talk to her about what's going on in Gotham City. Her father ends up ripping her right out of the building through a helicopter. So this issue finally kind of started having a lot of action to it, being 48 and 49, these two issues. But we're still not any closer to knowing who's in charge. As the Bat family members and Commissioner Gordon are probably on their last ropes, Julia is able to get back control from the bird's nest, and Alfred is able to give a security override to his containment cell. He punches out Thomas Elliot, which I thought was kind of cool, and all the Bat family starts getting control of their gadgets again, and Stephanie and her father have a moment where Arthur ends up saying, you know, you don't have to be part of this if you don't want to. I'm going to relinquish the hit on you. Let's kind of have the Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, we could rule the galaxy together type of a moment. And Stephanie finally draws the line in the sand and says, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to be part of your plans and what's nothing to do with it. So that's the line that's being drawn between a father and daughter. The end of the book is Batman finally arriving, making it to where our heroes are, at least where Jason is. He was going up against Bane, and that was a location that Julia gave, since Bane was one of the biggest threats kind of coming out of this recently, since he was kind of involved in the destruction of the Arkham Asylum. And so for the last, I think, 7 to 8 issues, Batman has not been in Gotham City. He's been working his way to Gotham City. So we've got 3 issues to go before we get to the end of the series. So, and we're still not any farther along of knowing who's the real ringleader behind it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this turns out. We've got a couple more books. The next book that we are up to, Batman Detective Comics number 40. This will continue. This will complete the Anarchy storyline. Anarchy has been one of my favorite villains, along with Hush and Black Mask. If you remember from the last issue, the very first Alice that the Mad Hatter had used was somebody from a child's adoption, or not adoption, excuse me, an orphanage that Jervis Tetch kind of worked at, and saw this person and thought, oh, she's just perfect. I'm going to make her my very first Alice. And the mask that Anarchy uses is in the same aesthetic of that first Alice, and it's driving Jervis Tetch absolutely crazy. The last issue, if you remember, Batman and Harvey Bullock were descending on the old orphanage, and they are going to take out, and they have followed Anarchy to the location along with Anarchy's other followers. Now, inside of Gotham City, it's kind of like the V for Vendetta. Anarchy has dispersed rather, a lot of Anarchy masks that everybody is wearing, and everybody's being thinks that they are in control of their actions and their minds, that they're free, they can take back their city, kind of Bane, Dark Knight, Rises-ish a little bit. But because of Jervis Tetch and the anger that Anarchy has towards Jervis Tetch, he has turned those masks into like the Mad Hatter's hats. So Anarchy is in control of everybody in Gotham City, and upon his word, they're going to wreak havoc in Gotham City, and then take back Gotham. So Alfred is trying to talk to Batman and Harvey Bullock. At some point, Batman gives Harvey his communicator and says, you're going to need this because Harvey has been stabbed by Anarchy. So at least there's Alfred to kind of talk to, so they can get help to Batman and Anarchy. The cool thing in this, it's not Lonnie Chaplin. I'm trying to make sure I have the name here correctly, and I'm totally going to miss it. Don't you love it when it's live and not Memorex? Sam Young, who was in the very first panel of the story in Detective Comics when the Wayne Manor, when Wayne Enterprises building blew up. So he was one of the people that were in there, was asking about the rebuilding of a child's orphanage, and those are the first clues that were put in that Batman had. See, I'm totally losing train of thought right there. So it's the fight between the two of them, and the savior of the day ends up actually being Harvey Bullock. Alfred cannot break through the encryption that is being sent out to the citizens of Gotham City, and they're on the verge of riots. And Commissioner Gordon is called in the police, or actually, not, excuse me, Commissioner Gordon. The mayor's called in for the SWAT team, because currently at the moment we don't know where Commissioner Gordon is because of the events of Batman Eternal. But the mayor and the deputy chief have called in SWAT team, and they're ready to use tear gas on the citizens of Gotham City who have all of these masks on, and they're trying to go as far as wanting to remove them, but it's starting to incite the riot more and more. Harvey ends up finding, Alfred can find a signal that's being generated, but can't pinpoint precisely where it is, and Harvey kind of staggers into a room and says all that he has found here is Jervis Tetch's hat. So he's looking through the hat, and all he can find is 10 over 9. And so he says, well, try 10 over 9, or try 109, and that's not working either. And Harvey says, doesn't this guy, this sicko, have to just put the hat on? And that's what ends up happening. And all Harvey has to do is just kind of have a peaceful thought, and everybody goes silent. Batman is able to get the upper hand on Sam, Anarchy, and ta-da, the day is done. So we have the last beat of Lonnie McCain, who we thought, or Machin rather, who is traditionally Anarchy, is being brought out of the hospital. So we know that Lonnie is not dead. He was not killed by Sam, even though he was at that orphanage for a little while, just kind of investigating. And one of the orderlies gives Lonnie a box and says, you know, relax, kid. I'm just giving you back all the belongings that you came in with. And inside the box, can you guess what it is? Is the Anarchy mask. As if Sam's no longer to be Anarchy because he is now behind bars, that Lonnie is now going to be the rightful Anarchy again. So I thought it was a neat twist on the Anarchy character that those of us with old continuity on our minds, that it wasn't entirely the Anarchy that we thought it was, but now that's kind of been given back, which goes into Batman Endgame just a little bit. We see more of Lonnie in here and kind of what he is doing with the Anarchy mask. But because I'm going to save this, the Batman Endgame story, for a wrap-up edition of Batman Endgame on this particular video series, I'm not going to talk about it. There's somebody I've recently met on YouTube that's been reading Endgame, and he and I are kind of going back and forth. And we're probably going to do a tandem Rob Sunday Comic Corner review, so I'll have my first guest after Endgame wraps up. So one of the last books, I do have one more. We have Grayson here. I'm not going to do the screen control with this one. It's just the image here. This is just this is a wrap-up beat. A lot of things are wrapping up because of Convergence. So all the books that I'm talking about today, this is going to be the last of them until after June. So we'll have 2 months of Convergent tie-in books that are going to go. So the normal books that you're reading in DC Comics will not be published for 2 whole months. The basic gist of Grayson in this particular issue is Milo has now found out all of the he is, at least what I'm assuming, was the head, of Spiral. And the whole reason Batman put Dick into the Spiral organization is that somebody is trying to find out the secret identities of all the superheroes. So you need to infiltrate Spiral, kind of become part of their organization, and find out and stop that from happening. And Milo ends up meeting with somebody, and it's kind of split, kind of gets cut back and forth because of Dick's actions before. And this was an odd beat, almost as if they were going to kick Dick out of Spiral. Dick has to pretend that he's gay in front of these girls that have kind of been gaga over him and have been sneaking off and trying to follow Dick Grayson because he's hot and he's cute. So Milo is saying, well, now you have to keep under the guise that you're gay to keep these girls at bay, so no, they don't have any shot at following you, which was an odd beat. It's not really played on other than just a little bit. Helena ends up getting shot by Milo as Milo is saying, I have figured out who all these people are. You're somebody I can no longer trust, and asks to see her bow, and her hand bow rather, and shoots her point blank and misses her heart by just a little bit. We find out later on as Dick comes into the room that she altered the sights on the gun, so in case that somebody was going to use her weapon to try and kill or hurt somebody, the sight would be off. So if they're going in for the kill shot, it's going to be off by just a little bit to hopefully give time to save somebody's life. So as she's kind of dying in Dick's arms, I don't know if they're in fact actually killing her or if she is just kind of passing out due to the loss of blood, and Dick is going after Milo. So it's kind of cut between Dick chasing after him, catching up with him, to Milo meeting somebody, basically saying, I have the information of the Justice League. Milo has a robot that's kind of working like a Mazo that is fighting Dick with all the abilities of the Justice League. So and I'm losing my who the other individual is, pardon with me here really quick, who Dick is fighting, who he's fighting with. The art of this is absolutely fantastic. Paragon is the robot that is fighting Dick Grayson, and Agent 1 of Spiral. So everybody, Dick and Helen are the only two that are using their real names from time to time. But Agent 1 is somebody that Dick kind of butted heads with in the first couple issues of Grayson. So the two of them are trying to fight this robot, are able to stop him and kind of get to the end of the particular issue and to find out, what's going on with Milo. They are able to, I'm grabbing the book one more time. They do defeat the robot, and just as they try to subdue Milo, this is the part that kind of confused me, and I probably sound really confused. They defeat the robot, and the girls come in to help save the day. We have a shot here of, I'm going to show this to you, so I'm not the only one that's confused here. Helena is back and alive, which we could see here, and she ends up shooting Milo and ends up saying, I changed the sights on the gun, yada, yada, that whole speech. And then it kind of fast forwards that this must be sometime later, he's better or whatever, sneaks away and says that he has all the secrets. And a dark-haired woman, we don't know who it is yet, but it's somebody that's a little higher than Milo in the Spiral organization, says, that's fine that you have the secrets of the Justice League. It's not really what I wanted. And Milo knows that she is there to kill him, and in fact does. So she says, we have something else in mind, and you're basically no longer important. And the members of Spiral have gone so long without being able to say who they are for real, because they have, a spiral on their faces that kind of masks who they are. He is saying, well, don't you want to know who I am? And he's saying it almost for himself. Can't I say who I am at least one time? And she's like, no, it's not important. And that's the end of the story. So they said, up next for Grayson, new adventures, new partner, same Dick. So they kind of used the Dick joke with Dick Grayson as much as they can in Spiral. I initially thought I was going to drop Grayson at the end of this particular run, but because they've been talking about Robin's 75th anniversary, and Dick Grayson actually being the one that's 75 years old, I'm kind of wanting to see what they're going to do this year in celebration of that. At the same time I think about enjoying it, it's a different book, and that's some of the diversity that DC Comics is wanting to do, is just make things different, bring different beats in to the DC universe, and kind of like not every superhero has to be in tights and a cape, Superman. So I'll have plenty to say once the new DCU kind of starts back up again. The last book for today is going to be Justice League United, and I can do this in just about 30 seconds. Big fight, heroes win. Thank you very much for playing. 10 issues. It was actually 5 issues for the introduction of all the characters, and then another 5 issues for Legion Lost and Legion of Superheroes team up that was going on. Brainiac 5 ends up taking Ultra here back with them to the 31st century. And Martian Manhunter started to realize that all of these things that were going on with Blythe and Ron and all of these, and the Thanagarian War and all that stuff that was going on, is all because of Ultra. If Ultra isn't here, and they stopped Ultra from kind of growing into the destroyer he is going to become, then when they return to their 31st century, things are going to be different. And Brainiac says that we can teach and we can help Ultra learn the correct ways to do good and to be the actual ambassador that he was supposed to. We last left our heroes, all of our heroes, there were so many it's hard to name them all. They were caught into a black hole, and they're being pulled and sucked in, and Blythe is like, if I can't have Ultra, then I'm going to destroy everything. Thanagar and Ron are literally, the two planets are sitting side by side, and they're going to collide, so it's going to cause a huge explosion. So we have Hawkman back in action, back from the dead, since his nth metal is regenerating his body, kind of like Wolverine, I guess. That's kind of Hawkman's new ability now. He's going to Thanagar to help try and evacuate as many people from the planet as they can before the two worlds collide. A funny moment is as Equinox is being pulled into the black hole by Bythe, and Stargirl is going after her. Martian Manhunter says, you know, the black hole has such a huge pull. If they just wait and let whatever's going to happen happen, the black hole will eventually close itself off. But Stargirl says, you know, we're not going to lose Equinox. And Equinox makes the joke of, look, up in the sky. Supergirl, because, you know, the Superman's not here, ends up saving the two of them. So that was a lighthearted moment. The thing that I really like about this book is it's fun. It's funny. It's not DC being so serious all the time. And again, I think that's going to be for the new DC universe, for people just to tell really good stories and maybe have a lighthearted book. So this has been a really, really good book. Everybody ends up getting back to their correct universes. Ron goes back to where it's supposed to in its own orbit. Thanagar goes back to its own orbit. Hawkman is an ambassador for Thanagar now, so he's not joining the Justice League United just yet. The rest of the team go back to Canada at their base that they're currently on, and then all the members one by one are like, okay, the situation is done. Oliver's heading back to Seattle, about St. Louis, and Animal Man's like, do you want to lift? And it's a fun moment between Animal Man and Green Arrow that I like out of this whole series. They're the Abbott and Costello, not so much where it's you know, funny all the time, but they're going back and forth, being that Animal Man can, you know, summon bird powers and be able to fly away, and has to carry Oliver and fly him all the way back to Seattle. So Oliver's saying, first thing I do when I get back to Seattle is make flight arrows, so I don't have to be picked up like a 4-year-old. So just that little banter between the two, that they're the two comedy partners, basically, of the Justice League United, which is pretty cool. The Stranges, Alana Strange and Adam Strange, are finally able to be in the same spot at the same time. They begin to kiss and make out, and Martian Manhunter's like, we're going to leave the Stranges alone and let them do their thing. And Courtney's like, do what? And Animal Man's like, Courtney, don't ever change. Don't ever grow up. Stay naive as long as you possibly can. So, again, I like the fun that this book has. And the end of the book, I do want to get this out. Let's see here real quick if I can find it. Bythe ends up going to Thanagar 10,000 BC, and the age of the dinosaurs in Thanagar, in Hawkman's world. So he is there before basically that world is starting, and he says, a new universe in my image. This time I will get it right. No beginning, no end. So I don't know if we're going to pick back up on that again. What is exactly going to happen after Convergence, and I'll show this picture here. It says, where do worlds go when they die? And we get, which I'm sure everybody's probably seen this, Convergence. So this month, the books that I review here will be the last books until the Convergence title is over. I am going to be covering Convergence as it comes out. And I think it's 6. No, it can't be 6 issues, because we have end of April. Excuse me, we had end of March. We have April, May, June. So it may go 3 issues, and it may go. It might go 6, because it may go bi-weekly. And then in that, I have like the Batman and Robin Convergence title. I have the Batgirl title that's Convergence, but that's Stephanie Brown Batgirl, and Tim Drake Cowl Red Robin, and Black Bat Cassandra Cain book, which I'm really excited about that. So I'll talk more about the books, the side Convergence books that I'm on, and then I'll go through the actual Convergence story here. I'll have more to say what I think about Convergence. I talked about it in my update video. So we'll see where this goes. I'm enjoying reading comics. Batman Eternal's been great, but I'm still a little apprehensive of where this new universe is going to go. But I was kind of the same way with the New 52, and I've been a huge flag waver of the New 52, and I'm sad to see this go. Now, continuity-wise, I think there's going to be 48 books, and of the 48 books, I think there are 24 books that are going to be, I said it wrong in the update video, about 24 books that are going to be operating in continuity, that stories will tie in and out and all of that stuff. And then the other books will be having their own continuities in their own book. So more and more as that comes out, I'll talk more about it. So I thought this comic book review I would do on a Sunday. I've had all the books read, and rather than shoot the video and edit it, I thought I would do it this way. So if I decide to do that, do this again, maybe I'll take more screenshots of the actual comics so that you can kind of see rather than look at one stale image. Let me know what you thought about this. Did you like the live format? Did you like me going, what was that guy's name again? I got to look through it really quick. So thanks for watching this Sunday Comics Corner. Go enjoy your Sunday, because as you can see, I got some light here, and I actually see grass outside. I may just go run in the grass. Probably not. Thanks, everybody. The next thing, like I've been saying, will be another action figure review, and my Alex Ross is gone right here. The Alex Ross Red Robin review is the next thing I'm going to review. So we'll see you guys next Sunday on the next episode of Rob's Sunday Comic Corner.